Hello everybody, welcome to The Magic Show. I am your host, Evan Irwin. This week I want to speak on three things which mean a lot to Magic players like you and I: culture, community, and reaction. Three things that can define a player base. So let's get started. First up is culture. What is the Magic culture? Is it the stream of articles and the talking heads on their opinions of top 8 decks? Is it judging articles based on how well or poorly they did in your opinion? Is it about hanging out with friends and playing or going to tournaments and doing well? This week we had some interesting developments in the Magic universe. Primarily, our own Ted Knutson was let go by Wizards of the Coast in a rather abrupt announcement. However, while Mr. Knutson will have no problems filling the premium shoes of our own Star City Games, Wizards acquired two different writers to help to fill the void both he and the departing Anthony Alongi created. Our own Kelly Diggs is coming aboard as, quote, copy editor, unquote, whatever that means exactly, and the Ferret is taking the place of Anthony Alongi for the Serious Fun column. I knew something fishy was going on when Ferret asked on his blog for people to contact him about a casual play group, and now we know why. Anyway, the community aspect was that while there were a lot of congratulations going around for Kelly and Ferret and some speculation on why Ted was leaving, our own Ken Crooner decided that not really enough people dislike him. So he replied to the article that he was glad Ted was let go from Wizards, after which point everybody jumped on him and digitally smacked him upside the head for his overtly negative comment. Ken, of course, has the right to his opinion, and I have the right to call him an ass. But where does that leave us? What makes a good community member? Was Ken right or wrong in his glee in Ted's departure? Would it or should it matter to the Magic players by and large? And does anyone really care about all this drama? I'm not sure, but it makes me think. Reaction is something that is not only gauged for behavior, but also from the new cards we saw hurtling our way this week. Let's take a look at some notable cards and their reactions. Wheel of Fate arrived, and nobody had any clue of its power level. "It's ta broken!" one shouted, heralding the return of Boros Weenie action. And remember what I said about White Weenie's Tier 2 All-Star status last week? Another said, "This is junk. This just says, in 4 turns, remand me." Which, by the way, pretty much cements the fact that Remand is perhaps the most ridiculous spell in Standard. Remand makes his spin look like the last kid picked for dodgeball. You know which one I'm talking about. Meanwhile, Johnnies of the world had a simultaneous orgasm when they saw Paradox Haze, the first ever true enchant player aura. Do note that Psychic Possession doesn't say enchant player, it says enchant opponent. Anthony Alongi, in his penultimate MagicTheGathering.com article, gave us the yawn-invoking Evangelize, which does feature buyback of approximately 1 billion white mana. I'm sure it's awesome when you do reach that epic billion mark, but until then it will stay strictly casual, per his usual theme. Magus of the Disc assured that Necropotence would have a built-in reset button when and if it ever returned, according to Mr. Flores. He also explained how the Disc and its subsequent power took about 5 years to finally be understood in the olden days of Standard, when it was called Type 2, and when tapped creatures dealt no combat damage. Yes, really. Those were the days in which home decapped actually meant something. Mr. Disc is joined by Mr. Jar and Mr. Mirror, and on Friday we found out Magus of the Scroll is the illegitimate love child of Dan Paskins. Between the choice of Magus and Grim Lavamancer, extended red mages may never actually recover from Time Spiral. The final Magus is he of the Candelabra, untapping lands with wild abandon. Not that he would be good in Urzatron or anything, but I suspect the price of breeding pools may actually triple when they realize how absurd this Magus really is. I must admit the final 2 Maguses are extremely awesome, bypassing some sort of stellar awesomeness limit not previously known. Expect them to be hot stuff at the pre-release. Speaking of, I have seen nothing that comes close to the hotness of Ancestral Vision, a card which will be warming the pockets of dealers for weeks until it either takes off or people realize that you have to wait 5 turns to draw 3 cards. But with clock spinning, that's really just 3.5 turns, right? All I know is that it is ridiculous and it will be abused. Is it me, or did the Azette Guildmage just get really, really good? I like scalping me some of them there free spells. Ancestral also carries along the fine tradition of name recognition in the Magic universe. Anything with the words Lotus, Ancestral, Disc, time library Mox or Jin gets us all hot under the collar about how broken the old spells used to be. We all warmly remember how powerful those spells are and how fun they must have been, and we're also silently pleased that we don't have to actually play Standard when Black Lotus first hit the scene, and when Ivory Tower was the mad tech, and when Sarah Angel actually killed someone in a tournament. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. Stay tuned, because next week I'll undoubtedly have something special for the Time Spiral pre-release. Real player reactions, live video. You never know what could happen up in here. But until then, you have been an awesome audience. Thanks for watching. And if you have a moment, check out my new fantasy set. Thanks.